Masterclass. The chat is available if you want to ask questions or if you have any comments that you want, just go ahead and type that in. All right. So let's take a couple breaths together so that we can all anchor in our presence right here. And get you to close your eyes. Not if you're driving. I see someone in their car. But you can breathe with your eyes open. All right, so we're going to take a deep breath in. Let it out. And again, in. And all the way out. And again, in. And all the way out. All right, so we have some time together in this magical container today to create or plant the seeds for the things that we desire, the things that we want to manifest, the things that we want to bring about. And one of the things that we do when we want to manifest is that we create this gap unintentionally. We are like, I am here, and the thing I want is there. And so there's a gap between who we are and the person that has what we want. And the thing is, when you have a gap, it creates a gap in your mind. Like I have to do something completely different in order to get that which I desire. And for our body, that doesn't feel safe because we don't know what that imaginary thing over here is going to look like. And so our body, it's hard for us to get behind that because our body, when our nervous system is wired, it's for safety. And safety is the known. Safety is predictable. Safety is the routine. Safety is the pattern. And if I'm asking to go outside of my current conditioning and current pattern, then your body says, and your nervous system says, what if that's not safe? Now, there are better questions we can ask, except it says, what if it's not safe? It doesn't say, what if this doesn't make me feel alive? It doesn't say, what if this doesn't bring joy to my life? It just says, is this going to keep me safe? And if not, you're going to push away what you want. And so the idea is that we don't create that huge gap between what we have now or where we are right now and where we think we desire to be. And how do we bridge that? We bridge that through the feelings, our feelings, and how we feel. So why do you want what you want? I ask people, what is it that they want? Some people wanted financial freedom. Some people wanted love. Some people wanted health. Think about the things that you want. Why do you want them? Type that in the chat. Why would someone want freedom? Yeah. If I had more money, I would be more free, right? If I had the relationship that I desire, I would feel more loved. I would, whatever. So the feeling, though, is what you're looking for because you want to feel free. You want to feel connection. You want to feel love. You want to feel worthy. You want whatever it is that the reason you want it is because you want to feel something. And you can feel some sort of the freedom now, some sort of the connection now, some sort of whatever it is that feeling you're going for. You can start to feel it here. And when you can feel it here, then it lessens the gap between here and there. Because right now, there's something that tethers you. There's a point that pulls you, a string that pulls you along. So right now, we are in until August the 12th. We're in a whole bunch of somethings, by the way. So if you feel like your world is topsy-turvy right now, in all the best and the strangest of ways, there is a reason for this. And you don't even have to believe in astrology or astronomy, even, or how things are aligned. The way that I see the way that I use astronomy or astrology is that I say, okay, these are the things I'm focusing on right now. And if by some chance in the universe there is an energy that's supportive of what I'm working on, I will use that energy. Why not? Because it's there, right? So regardless if it's there or not, whether you believe or you don't believe, then we'll just take this time to focus on and what you desire. And then if that is boosted or augmented by the energy that's present, even better. So we are in something called the Lionsgate portal. And what it does is it's a fruitful time for you to plant the seeds of what you want to create. And this portal, it peaks on the August the 8th, and then it closes on August the 12th. And I've been doing this for a few years now. And at this time, it's my favorite time to plant the seeds and to harvest and to plant the seeds of new things, harvest other things, and then let it grow because why not? The energy is here for it. There's also a full moon that happened yesterday. And there was something about Jupiter, I have no idea, but I was just reading that these couple days are supposed to be the luckiest days of the year. And I said, wow, why not use those on top of everything else? So if you've been feeling things like, oh, I've been seeing coincidences happening, or I've been seeing numbers that, you know, that keep repeating themselves, or I've been feeling like a shift is going to happen, or things have been coming that you're like, oh, I can let go of that now. Then that's what it feels like to be using or in this frequency or in the energy of the Lionsgate portal. I'll tell you a story. Yesterday, I was like, wow, I knew this the day before yesterday that I was reading, oh, it's the luckiest day of the year. And I said, oh, I wonder what's going to happen on the luckiest day of the year. And I was driving home, and again, nothing special had happened that day. And the thought that came to me was the extraordinary is in the ordinary. It's just that we're missing it. You're not aware of it. And I was like, wow, I had an extraordinarily ordinary day. And I missed it because I was looking for something big, for something extraordinary, something way out of the norm to happen, that I missed the amazing ordinariness of it. And so just as a minute later, so I was at a stop while I was contemplating this in my car. And then I turned onto a bridge. And this bridge is when we spread my mother's ashes last year, we put them into the river. And the river runs underneath the bridge that I was on. So I had this contemplation about ordinary and extraordinary. Made a left turn, and then I went on this bridge where I usually say hello to my mom. And then a car or a truck, I noticed, wanted to come into my lane right in front of me. And I was like, what is he doing? But it doesn't matter. Let them in. Right on the back of that truck, there is a Canada Post sign, a giant Canada Post sign. And my mom worked for Canada Post for her entire lifetime. Like that was the job. She was at Canada Post. There was a Canada Post truck right there. I was like, oh, hello. And then on the radio at that time, there was a song that was playing, and it was like, you don't know that you're beautiful. And I was like, oh my goodness. The extraordinary within the ordinary. So something so in the day, just going about the regular day. And from there, I was like, oh, it was ordinary, but it was so much extra just because I was able to have the awareness of it. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy says, I love that extraordinary in the ordinary. Earlier that day, I was going down a road that has these speed bumps, And they aren't the ones that go all the way across the road. So it's a speed bump like in the middle of the road. It still allows you to slow down. And the other day when I was going over them, I was like, oh man, there's a speed bump all the time over here. And my car kept going bouncing. And I was like, I wonder if there's another way. Anyways, there were no other cars around because it was just a residential street. And I drove over the speed bump, but it just so happened that it was small enough that the car went over it without hitting the speed bump because I drove in between. I said, wow, I never saw that before. So it's the things that you're doing every single day that you're already doing, but all of a sudden you see a new way of doing it that was never there before. And in the Course in Miracles, it's a book, A Course in Miracles, they say a miracle is simply a shift in perception because it allows you to see something that you haven't been able to see before. And that's a miracle because with a new perception comes new opportunities, new ideas, newness. Most of the time we're stuck in our patterning, in our everyday life, in the predictable. So in our own little zone of predictability, we know what's going to happen tomorrow. And we even say, oh, tomorrow it looks really busy. I'm going to have a busy day. Oh, I'm probably going to be tired tomorrow. Okay, but it hasn't happened yet. Right? Like we're trying to predict, we're already thinking we're going to be tired for tomorrow, but tomorrow has not happened yet because we're still in today. And so we're predicting the tomorrow. So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? If you say, I'm going to be tired tomorrow, you're going to wake up tomorrow and your patterning that's there is going to say, I'm tired. And then of course you're like, of course I'm tired. Because we are in the zone of predictability. Now there is another zone. Of course there is, right? The zone of possibility. And to get to the zone of possibility, it is to see something, to have a miracle occur, to see something in a way that you never saw it before. Because once you see that, then you're like, oh, maybe I can look at this problem from another angle. Maybe this can occur. But to get there, you've got to be outside the zone of the ordinary or the zone of predictability. And so, because in reality, the way that our logical mind works is we're like, okay, this is what happened in the past, right? It has led me, these are the actions I've taken in the past. This has led me to now. Okay, so if I continue to take these actions, it's going to lead me to another. But that's not always true because as we know, the universe likes to give us surprises. Things come out of left field, and they're like, oh, great. I didn't even know that was coming. I didn't even know that was in that zone of possibility. And so we like to have things predictable. And yet, when they become so predictable, we want variety, right? We're like, oh, my life is too boring now. Everything's so predictable. I want the variety. We get tricked into thinking that it is better on the other side. Once I have more money, I will be free. Once I find more love, I will have connection. Once I yada, 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 right? But you may have moments of that, but it's not a forever thing. We want to lock it into forever, but that's not true because when you were growing up, you said, once I'm an adult, I'll be able to do whatever I want and I will have no worries at all. Says my 7-year-old, right? Once I'm old enough to be able to buy, this is my 8-year-old, the Pokemon cards that I want, then I will be able to buy my Pokemon cards. Yes, if you have money left over after you've paid for your food and your shelter and all the things. But once I graduate high school, I will be happy. Once I get a job, I will be happy. Once I get married, I will be happy. Because we think it's going to last forever. But all that happens is that we get a new set of duality with it, a new set of polarity, because there's not one time where all our problems are solved because you have something else that you desire. because it's part of our evolution, it's part of who we are. We're constantly growing. We evolve over a lifetime. We have the capacity to learn over a lifetime, right? And so we're always going to have that desire for more connection, more freedom, more whatever it is. So the root is, how do I be grateful for what I have while still desiring more? Because you could want to be like, let's say you like to sew. You can want to learn to sew better, right? Let's say you love to learn. You can want to learn more. And that's part of who we are. So we don't want to say, I don't want to have any desires. I don't want to learn anymore. I don't want to, whatever brings you joy. I don't want to travel anymore. There's nowhere else I want to visit anymore for the rest of my life because I've traveled to one place. It's okay to want. It's okay to desire. There should be no blame, shame, guilt that we attach to it. And we're so grateful for what we have now. And when we go back to, okay, we'll take the financial freedom example because it's tangible, it's easier. When I have more money, I will feel free, right? Where can you feel free right now? Financially. And I've said this story before, but when I go to, let's say I take the kids to the dollar store and I give them $5. They can get anything they want in the dollar store for $5. Well, mostly. But what I'm saying is, there you feel free in there because they can choose anything. Right? It doesn't mean that once I have, let's say, $1 million, I will feel free. How do you know you're going to feel free with $1 million? Maybe you'll feel free with $200,000. Maybe you'll feel free at a different number. Maybe you'll get to $1 million and be like, I still have all these worthy causes that I want to donate money to. I need way more than $1 million. I need $1 billion. Doesn't matter. It's what you desire to do, right? The bigger the impact you want to have, you are going to need some money to help that, because you can't also be everywhere at the same time. We're talking about money right now. So grateful for where we are, for all that we have, while one foot is in the gratitude, one foot is in desire. It's a walk. When we walk, we take one foot in gratitude, one foot in desire. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is where my next step is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is where my next step is. And the thing is, you only need to take the next step. We think about step 52 along the steps. But you don't know who you're going to be at step 51. Your perception might change. You might not even have that desire anymore. Right? Have you ever been to a store and you said, oh, I like this, or I like these pants. And then you're like, oh, I really want to buy them. Okay, no, I'm not going to buy them. And then later on, you look at them and you're like, why did I want to buy this? I don't even remember why I want to buy this. Because you're no longer the person that wanted to buy it. So the next step that you take already gives you vision to something that you didn't see on the first step. So if you're walking up the stairs in your house, and imagine you had glass all around, you take one step. It's pretty similar to the bottom step, but you are a little taller. You know, have you ever stood? I'm 5'3", being generous. Okay, so if I step on a stool, one of the kids' stool, my kitchen looks different because I'm a step stool higher. And I go, this is a new point of view. Just because I took a step up in my own kitchen onto their stool, I can do the dishes better with their stool. So you're a different person already taking the next step. And then once you're a different person, because you have a different perspective, different possibilities and opportunities show up for you. And from there, that version of you takes the next step. So you don't need to be on step 52, because you might not need 52 steps, first of all. That's a long staircase. My legs would probably be tired by then. But you might only need 10 steps. You might only need 5. You may take 2 steps and say, this is definitely not the right direction. reroute the GPS. We'll go down the slide and we'll go a different way. So we create these things in the future to separate ourselves from where we are and where we want to be. Then we say, when I'm this, I am allowed to feel all the things that I want to feel. Can't feel them now. And the funny thing is, if you don't like where you're going along the way, how do you know you're going to like it when you get there? Right? I'm going to feel free over there, not here. But if I'm not feeling free now while I'm doing what I'm doing, is continuing to do what I'm doing going to get me the freedom that I think I need or want? Probably not, especially if you don't like it there. Or you might get there, and for one moment, you're like, I'm here. I made it. I got to my goal. And then you're like, now what? The next moment later. I noticed the now what earlier this month. At the beginning of the month, I did a testing for my blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I passed, yay. After that, right after, as soon as I got my belt, I came back, I sat down, and someone was like, well, now you're going to go for your purple belt. I'm like, that's 4 years away. I just am one day past the white belt. That's still around my shoulders because now I have a blue one around me. And we don't take into account, in order to get the blue one, how many times you had to go to the gym, how many techniques you had to learn, how many uncomfortable positions you had to put yourself in, all the versions of you that had to go through that in order for you to become somebody that received the blue belt. But was I any different the moment before I got the belt to the moment after? No. Someone just tied a piece of fabric around me. That's it. And so the journey needs to bring you joy as well, so that the destination will also include the joy that you're seeking for. The feelings that we say, nope, I'm going to feel later. I'm going to feel this later. Oh, this doesn't resonate with me, but I don't want to feel that right now because this is going to take me. We think that this path is the only path that can take us to where we want to go. So we're like, okay, gonna shove that down. Not gonna feel that over there. No, thank you. What do you mean anger? I don't want to feel that. Let's push it down. Let's push it in even more. Oh, this makes me feel sad. Okay. Nope, don't like that. Gonna put that somewhere else. And then we run out of places in our body to put things, right? Or something happens and everything gets released at once. Yes, Jackie says we're also conditioned not to take time for rest, to celebrate each moment, achievement along the journey. Yeah, so we miss the extraordinary in the ordinary moments as well. Yes, that's the thing. It was the ordinary moments that got you to the extraordinary. To get your high school certificate, it meant going to class, oftentimes for lots and lots of years for you to get there. Right? We ran out of room to stuff things in our body. Yes, yes. One of the things that we like to say, if in terms of weight loss, is when someone, let's say they've looked after the diet, the exercise, they looked at their hormones, all of that was okay, and they're still not losing weight. We say, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you. So what is inside of you that needs to come out? So that was an aside. Okay. So then we say, okay, universe, I want to manifest $1 million. I want to manifest perfect relationship. Please fall out of the sky, right? And I need it by tomorrow. That's the best one. I need it now. I need it next month. Why has it not happened for me yet? I've been doing this manifestation thing for 10 years and I still have not yet manifested it to fall out of the sky and hit me on the head, or the man or woman of my dreams to show up at my door. I opened my door and nobody was there. Why didn't you send it to me? Those are my favorites. Okay. So we ask the universe for these things. And we say, why didn't I get it? And it's not that you have to do things in order to receive. It's also the way that we do them, who you're being while you are doing something. Because it's an exchange. It's an energetic exchange. So you are made up of energy, and with you have a allotted amount of energy, because energy is, as we learned in school, is not created or destroyed. So you have your energy, and then things in your day take up energy. This includes the thoughts that you have. This includes the feelings that you have. And feelings can take up a lot of energy, like sadness, like rage. After an episode of that, most of the time, you might want to take a nap because you're drained, right? Now, thoughts that take up a lot of energy. What do you think those might be? What kind of thoughts would take up energy? Negative thinking, doubt, worry, fear. Yep. Fear is the one that causes a lot to take up. Now, what do we fear? Usually we fear things that haven't happened yet, things in the future, things that we fear might happen if all these things, if the world ends. But most of the time, they haven't happened yet. So we're anticipating fear that isn't even there. Now, lots of fears are actually, most of the fears are actually come down to one fear. And that fear is the fear of dying. Because we don't know, we don't have the guarantees of how long we're going to be here. And we don't know, like we don't have the knowing yet of what happens after. And so afterwards is the unknown. And you know what is right now, and you know your life right now. And you want to be alive. Makes sense, right? And so you fear death. So let's say you're chasing money. You fear you won't have enough money. Or you're chasing, I fear I won't have enough this. Once you get enough money, you'll fear losing it, right? Let's say you want a relationship and you're like, oh, I have it. As soon as you get it, you're going to fear, oh, what if it's gone? What if they disappear, right? If you work through all the different fears, it will come down to fear of dying and not living. And so here's the thing, we can't get rid of that fear. That fear is always going to be there in some way. So what can we do? We can accept that we are going to be able to walk with the fear. We just accept, okay, I am fearful of that. And then we move on. We don't have to avoid it anymore. Because we just accept that, yes, at some time in the future, we're not going to be here anymore. I accept that. Okay. But what can I live for while I'm here? What can I live for while I'm here? So instead of not doing all these things because I'm afraid that I'm going to get hurt, I'm afraid I'm going to, that I won't recover, I'm afraid that X, Y, and Z, why not live for this? Because it's a different life to live for something versus doing everything to avoid something, fear. Right? Because let's say you want to go to the gym and you haven't gone to the gym in a while. Going to the gym is going to be outside your comfort zone. So that's going to cause some stress. That's going to cause your nervous system to kick in and say, hey, I'm outside of my comfort zone. I don't like this. So you go to the gym and you're like, oh, yay, I worked out and I'm really, really, really sore now. And then your body's like, yeah, we can't do this anymore because you're going to get hurt. You know, maybe you shouldn't go to the gym. What if you trip over a weight and, and you're done for it? And then you're like, maybe I shouldn't go to the gym. And then you eat something. And then something happens and you're like, maybe I should stop eating. Okay, you we make our world smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually we're in our room and we're like, okay, if I leave my room, something will happen. I will trip and fall down the stairs and it'll be over. And then you don't even go outside anymore. That's not living. In the time that there were castles, people would build these giant walls around the castle, right? And it served the purpose of protecting the people that were inside the castle because other people would try and storm the castle and all the things, right? So you're like, yes, I've protected my fortress. But then it's also keeping everybody out. And you can't also explore the world because you're stuck inside your castle. So yes, you're surviving, but will you thrive? Will you see the sunset? Will you go out in nature? Will you be able to go outside of the castle without putting on 50 things of armor, right? You wouldn't see the world. You wouldn't see the beauty because you don't want to leave the castle. So there is a place for survival. And then there's a switch for survival. And it's not one or the other, it's both. But being able to walk with the fear and move anyway. It's taking that fear, tucking it in like it's a football. You've seen people do football and running. Because without the fear, there is no courage. If you look at all the movies that we love, like those great movies that make us cry and that get us so into the film and like works of art, the poems that people write, the ones that we all connect to, heartbreak, bad things happening, people losing things, fear, like grief, sorrow, all of those. There's beauty in that, right? So we need to have the capacity to hold the duality of all of it and encompass the entire range of all the human experiences and all the human emotions. And that's one of the things that is difficult because, again, we don't want to feel. And yet feeling is what lets us know that we care. I got angry because I care about this in some way. I'm sad because I care. I'm whatever has happened because I care. Right? Grief. That means if you feel grief, you loved. We have one and the other. It's not one and or the other, right? The grass isn't greener on the other side because there's a more polarity to it. If you want the $1 million, you don't think that there will be polarity once you get the $1 million? People who've won the lottery and stuff like that have said, I don't know who's my friend and who's not my friend or who wants to be with me because I have money and who, people are trying to get money from me. People are doing things and asking me for money. That's what happened when they came into more money. Do you think they felt free? And yet we say we want to strive for this because it'll bring us freedom. So to manifest what you desire, you've got to start from where you are. You've got to see where in your life you already have that which you are seeking. Where do you already have freedom? Where do you already have the connection that you're searching for? And then we expand that and we grow that because the nervous system already has it. They're like, oh, yeah, I can hold freedom because I already have it. That's not a danger to me, right? I already feel free when I'm let's say you're fortunate enough to go to the grocery store and you can buy yourself whatever groceries that you desire without, thinking too much about it. So you have that freedom already. You're like, I am free to buy groceries. that, and your body's like, yes, you are. Okay, so then you expand that a little more. Where else can I see freedom? Where else do I have freedom already? And then that grows. Where am I connected? Maybe I'm connected with myself deeply. Maybe I'm connected with, I have a friend that I'm deeply connected to, or, and then you grow that. The feelings that you want, the reason that you want the things that you want is so that you could feel a certain way. And, but you already have experiences in your life that feel that same way. So imagine there's this thread of that same feeling of freedom everywhere you go, or abundance wherever you go. Then the universal thread, that string, pulls all along the way. And how fast do you think that'll come to you? Because you're like, I already have that. I already have that. I'm already abundant. I'm already wealthy. And when we say abundance, it's an abundance of everything. It's not abundance of, okay, only the good things, right? It is the abundance of all of it. So with abundance also may come an abundance of bills. And you're like, oh, I don't want an abundance of bills. Oh no. Okay, but if you don't have the capacity to hold that, then you can't hold the abundance of, let's say, money. If you have, let's say, a big business and there is an abundance of money, there is also a lot of bills that you're going to have to pay on the other side of it, right? If you have a home, then you pay rent, or you pay, property taxes, or you pay, right? And so when we get the bill, we're like, thank you that I have warm water to use in my house. Do I like paying the hydro bill? No. Am I grateful for water? Yes. Okay, so I find gratitude in the bill. I'm happy that I have the money to pay my hydro bill. I'm happy I'm, able to do the things that I am able to do. And then your frequency, the universe is like, everything I give this person, they make even better. They're grateful and they make it better. Wow, this person, like, I love giving to this person. Who do you like giving to? Do you like giving to the person who's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Thank you. Thank you. This is like the best thing in the world. Or do you be like, thank you, but that's not really what I wanted, Like, you should have chosen another color for me, or like, I'm not really into that. Who do you want to give to? I want to give to someone that I know is going to, like, it's going to rock their world. Because I like the excitement that I want to give to somebody who wants to receive really well. Like that little kid, my daughter's the best at receiving. She's like, oh, thank you. Like she's jumping up and down. And I literally gave her these things called Neatos. They're a little cube thing. It was $4. And she was like, took it and carried it everywhere that she went, and she squished it, and like she was over the moon. It's $4. And yet, of course, I want to give her more because of how much she appreciated that. So who do you think the universe wants to give to? Someone who's like, yes, I have a bill. I'm going to celebrate this because I have water. Oh my goodness. Yes, I can hold the abundance of both. And even when I feel overwhelmed, that just means there's an abundance. I'm overwhelmed by the number of invitations I have. I have abundance of invitations. I'm overwhelmed by my schedule. I have a lot to do. The things that, and at some point in your life, you had asked for a lot of things to do. Or you may have said, I wish I had more friends. And now you have 25 invitations to what to do this week. And you're like, I am so overwhelmed. But it's what you asked for. Right? It's like, but I asked for all this. And so then we said to the universe, no, that's not how I wanted it, universe. I did want more friends, yes. And I wanted more events to go to, absolutely. Just not all at the same time. You didn't do it right, universe. Nope, pull the plug. I don't want it anymore. All right, disconnect. Disconnect the feeling. Disconnect, close it all down. And the universe is like, oh, okay, but I was going to give you, nope. Close it all down. No. And then you're like, okay, all right, I don't have anything, I don't have any more commitments. I'm done with my friends are not calling anymore because you didn't go to the things that you told them you wanted to go to. You missed their birthday, all the things. All right. And then you're like, okay, universe, I want more friends. I want more things to do. I want more parties to go to. I want this. Universe like, and you're like, yes, I'm open. I'm ready to receive. Universe like, here you go. Oh, Sally, you can come to this party. Oh, you can do this. And then you're like, too much, too much. I'm overwhelmed. Pull the plug, universe. And then we start all over again. It's not fun. So we also sometimes see overwhelm as it's too much instead of not seeing the abundance that is there. That makes sense. So today we talked about different ways that when we ask, say, I want this, and the universe, why haven't you given it to me yet? And where in our manifestation process we could have energy leaking. So manifestation begins with the environment, with your nervous system, right? Feeling safe to receive. And the best way to do that is to start with where you are. I already have it. Oh, okay. That makes me feel I'm safe with what I have right now. Excellent. Let's grow that part. Oh, okay, I can do that. But I don't have this and I want this. Oh, that's a big gap. Right? Nervous system might not be ready yet for that. Any questions? Any comments? So what we're doing today is we are removing the blockages. Thank you. Lots of nuggets. Overwhelm is also an indicator of abundance present. Yes. Yes. This whole time that we've been talking has been to clear away the things that we put in our own way that have been blocking us from receiving. This was pulling out the weeds in our garden. This is pruning our garden. And everything we talked about, you can already do from right now. And so I want you to take a look at areas in your life. Yeah, you need to be mindful and specific in what you want to manifest. Or also you can go with faith and say, the universe knows what I need at the time that I need it. The universe knows what I desire. And whatever the universe is bringing my way is either for my learning or my growth. And I trust the universe. I trust what the universe brings for me. So you have until August the 12th to play in this portal. Take a look at where in your life there might be some dissonance. So something that doesn't resonate. Like maybe you notice, oh, I think the grass is greener on the other side, and I don't think there'll be polarity there. Can I manage my polarity right now? What are my feelings about the thing that I desire? Can I feel some of that already in this moment? Because some of it's already present with me. Is my nervous system safe with what I have now? And where can I grow more of it? And how can I notice the extraordinary in the ordinary? All these things are building your vibration, changing your frequency. And then all of a sudden, something shifts and a miracle occurs. And you're now in that zone of possibility. You went from predictability to possibility. And from there, you can create anything. All right. So if there are no more questions, then we are complete for today. Yay! Happy manifesting. You have until the 12th. It actually peaks on the 8th of August. So everything you're doing right now, all the things that popped up into your head, oh, this is what I've been doing. This is seeds that I've been planting. Plant them now. Fertile soil. All right. Have a wonderful day.